Welcome to Beyond Flow. My name is Tammy. This is Maria, and we are your hosts. Spiritual conversations, inspiring conversations. That's what this is all about for us. And we're looking forward to another episode with you. Want to just remind you to please share. If you enjoy this, share this with your friends. Like our episodes. You can find us now on Spotify, and we'll be opening up into a bunch of other platforms real soon. So we look forward to connecting with more of you, and we appreciate your support very much. So we're going to be talking today about rituals and why humans love rituals. So why do we love rituals as human beings? You know, we do, if we think about, like, you wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you start the coffee, you know, if you're meat, you take the dog out, you turn the lights on, like you light a candle, whatever it is that you do when you first wake up, these are rituals. And it's almost always exactly the same for everybody, right? Rituals, I think, for humanity create consistency. They're grounding. Like in the morning, it's a sense of stability as you start your day. So it's sort of like creating something that feels certain. And we have a lot of chaos around us, right? So rituals can bring a sense of stability and order. So order in chaos, rituals, they bring you back centered. So that's why, like, thinking about it, when we do lots of spiritual rituals, but just like the way you rise in the morning, it's a ritual. And some people say, like, they say grace, right, before a meal. Lighting a candle, like I mentioned, can be a ritual for a lot of us with intention, but it also creates like an inner stillness. You take a moment, whether you're blessing the food, lighting a candle, but you're taking a moment for an inner stillness. Again, balancing chaos. I think rituals, that's one of their number one goals. You know, in again, regular life, weddings are a ritual. Funerals are a ritual. Meditation is a ritual. Prayer is a ritual. So we need them as human beings to feel balanced.
It's almost like you take an action. It's almost like taking an action on this physical world, and then it's for me, when I think of a ritual, it's you create an action, but the most important part of that action, it's your intention.
Yeah.
It's what's behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. And for me, is no matter what ritual you're doing, for me, it's to connect with God. Every ritual that I do, and it's not idol worshiping, because it's not like, okay, you're lighting a candle to this saint, or you're praying to this angel, to this whatever it is that you're doing. But if that ritual, that action, is truly to connect to the divine, then that is, I think that is the most important part of a ritual, is that always to remember that when we have an action, is to connect to the light of the Creator.
Yeah, it's that intention. Absolutely. And, at the store at Flow Life, we talk about them a lot with customers, because people are trying to shift something in their life or help somebody else shift something. And consistency and repeated action is the best way to shift or change something in our lives. So if we have chaos and we can move to something more focused, intentionally focused, we are speaking to the universe in a different language than a chaotic one. Because if we put chaos out there, we're going to keep getting chaos in our life. If we center ourselves and stay focused on using a candle, using a bath, whatever it is, from a more spiritual ritual even carrying a crystal and thinking about that crystal each day when you grab it and you put it in your pocket and you remember why you're doing that. You are taking chaos and creating order, being focused. So I thought, I think that's one of a good manifestation result of having rituals in our lives.
I like when you said about the wedding. That's so when
a ritual.
when you drink and what is the difference between when you drink wine in a wedding than when you drink wine at church, right? Or during Shabbat? It's where your consciousness is.
Right.
So there's no difference than just understanding that where your consciousness is. It's like dieting, right? Like I'm gonna diet and I'm not gonna eat today. Well, that's for diet. But if you do it for spiritual reasons, then it's fasting.
Right.
And you're not doing it with the same intention. So I think that what you're saying is that it's the intention behind when we do something in that ritual, in that action that creates the manifestation of whatever it is that we are, which
gets us more in aligned.
That gets us more in alignment and with peace and with harmony, which is, I think, the reason why we do what we do is to create connection, harmony, and balance.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was thinking about okay, what's something that we can share and you can take with you for more than just one event. And so I thought about the moon. And
about the moon,
the cycles of the moon.
Okay.
So the moon goes through cycles all year long. We're always in a different phase of the moon, right? And we're always in a repeated. We have a new moon, we have a full moon, and what comes in between. And every, it's not really every month, but every 30 or so days,
Yes.
right? Or 28 days, it shifts, right? It affects us physically. It affects us in every way. But if we think about using the moon for rituals, so what we can do is start with what a new moon is, right? A new moon is new beginnings. A new moon is setting intentions, setting goals, planting the seed, right? Okay. So when a new moon comes, you can write down certain goals, whatever it is that you are thinking about, that you want to see in your life. And if we want to take it to a deeper study into it, so there's a new moon for every sign. So coming up soonish, I think it's the 18th of March, is the new moon of Pisces. So if we want to be really specifically connected to the planets and all year long sort of shifting with that, so let's connect to the energy of Pisces, even if you're not a Pisces. And if you are a Pisces, it's even a more powerful moon for you. But right? So Pisces are things like connecting to compassion for yourself and others. Where in what it is you're drawing into your life, where can compassion play a role? Because that's a Pisces trait. Another trait is dreaming, the dreams that you have for yourself. So that falls in alignment with what it is you'd like to accomplish or what your goals might be. So that Pisces energy is dream state, right? So connecting with dreams. And peace. Where do you need peace in your life to help you manifest the things you're trying to manifest? So it's an example with the new moon of Pisces coming. Then we think about the full moon. The full moon is a time for releasing things, releasing what's no longer serving, and manifesting the fruits of those intentions that you set in your new moon. And the one thing that I think is important is as you move through the moon cycles, the full moon comes every month, but the full moon in Pisces, for example, won't be for 6 months.
Okay.
So every 6 months is when the full moon is of that. So the intentions you write for the new moon of Pisces have an expectation as you move through these cycles that the end result of some of those goals is really in 6 months.
In 6 months.
So then 2 weeks after the new moon in Pisces is going to be the full moon of the Aquarius, I guess. No, full moon of 6 months before, but it's going to be the full moon of another sign.
Okay.
So you still might have within those couple of weeks from when you set your intention to a little bit to release a couple of things that have come through and you're like, okay, yep, that came through. That no longer resides with where I'm going. Let me make some adjustments, and we adjust through each month or each cycle. Sometimes your intentions are going to shift. You may reach some of those Pisces goals before that time comes. You never know. It could be. Or you may realize that now you're going to shift the path to another. So each new moon, you can grow on those intentions, erase some things that aren't needed anymore, and notice in your full moon times all the manifestations that have come. And so it's like a way of you can almost like create a map or create a journal through this process. And it's a way of having an ongoing ritual that you're also concentrating on, you're also focused on, you're also creating intention each moment that we move through.
Yeah, because that's what really, if you think about everything that we do, it's with the purpose of being better, of feeling better, of connecting with our dreams better.
Yeah.
To divine inspiration, to all the things that we want to manifest on this plane. So why not use not only the physical tools that we have, and it could be anything. It could be, prayer. It's a ritual. Meditation is a ritual. There's so many things that we can use as a ritual, but we also have the non-so-physical windows of opportunities that is given to us that we can also use as rituals, which is the moon, or a holiday, which is, and I'm not talking a holiday like, vacation, but I'm talking about that it's holy, that whether you believe in that energy is there or not, is there to support us.
Yep.
We just have to be awake enough to take advantage of that, and then connect to the energy and be able to use it not only for ourselves, but then as we become better, then we can, share that with others.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I feel like rituals are an opportunity that bring you back to you. They give you an opportunity to slow down and refocus and bring you back to your intentions, back to your heart, back to your soul. And in that is truly that connection to others comes when we come back in connection to our soul. It's very easy to see the world as one, to see us all in from one place, not such division, which is what helps create the chaos. So use whatever ritual, and rituals can also be taking a walk, right? But use your rituals and see how you feel, because I think you are going to feel more balanced and more aligned with your true self and who you truly are. And that's why we have so many different types of rituals at Flow Life.
Yeah, I'm going to recommend one ritual that it works for me, and I've been doing it for so many years too, which is when you feel like you need, like something just doesn't feel, and it's not conscious, like you're like, wow, like this, things aren't flowing, or you just feel heavy. Salt. Now, salt is mentioned in the Bible many times, believe it or not, because it is, and it was used always as protection. So that's why when we go to the ocean, I always tell people, you can get a salt bath from Flow Life. And they're special because, there's a lot of consciousness that happens when we make the baths. But you don't have to get a salt bath. You can go to the ocean. And I don't know how many times people have come here and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what you recommend, and they don't have a bathtub and they don't feel comfortable with, getting a... Okay, then go to the ocean and go to the ocean.
God's salt bath.
That's the best salt bath that you can do. So if you feel heavy, if you feel like, you have a little bit of a negative, and I don't like to say like negative energy attached to you, because I don't like to give that much energy to the negative side. Right. But if you feel heavy, or if you feel that, you need to like, almost like a renewal.
Or you feel overwhelmed. Sometimes being overwhelmed is just energy stuck to you. Just life's energy. Doesn't mean it's something dark. Just the experience of day after day after day. If we don't cleanse that, it can get heavy.
Correct. So I tell people, go to the ocean. Water is mercy. We are in our womb for 9 months in water.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing more for me cleansing, a ritual that you can do. And a ritual doesn't mean you have to do it every so often. It's just being in the place of consciousness, of cleansing, of connecting.
Yeah.
And that's one of the rituals that I love the most, and that's why we started doing the salt bath. Because even if I don't have the time to go into the bathtub, I just get a little bit of salt into my physical body, and it
In the shower.
in the shower,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
really does cleanses you.
You feel lighter. You
Yeah.
feel lighter. You sleep better. It's
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, like you soak your feet on salt, or
Uh-huh.
it's that energy. It's not just, yes, it's a physical that you feel good, but it's also a very energetic.
very energetic, very spiritual.
Cleansing.
Yeah,
So-
purification. I love it. So that's those were just some thoughts on rituals. I think that if you're not finding yourself with some intention, try it. Try pick something that you can do over and over to help you in your goals with life, and you'll be surprised.
And to transform, and to be better, to connect to positive energy, and being able to just share that with the world.
Yeah, I love it.
So,
Awesome.
thank you.
Thank you so much.